push it right here.
Right here.
Which is green. There it goes.
Oh, okay. Okay, it is 5:15 now, and we are going to go ahead and call our Main Street board meeting to order. And we do have a quorum, so we are good. We are excited. That's the first time that's happened in a little bit. So glad we do have a quorum today.
The EDC calls to order our workshop as well. Okay, back to you.
Okay, so the first thing that we need to do for the Main Street Board is has everyone had an opportunity to review the minutes from our 5-9 meeting, so on May 9th, and review our financials for May, June, and July. Okay. And we do need to have a motion to approve those.
I make a motion to approve the financials and minutes.
Thank you. Do we have a second?
May, June, and July.
Thank you.
A second.
Okay, thank you. Very good. All in favor? Say aye. Are there any opposed? Wonderful. Okay, motion approved. We do have a couple of action items. Are we going to jump right into our action items? Okay, so the first action item we have is we need an approval to accept the resignation of board member Erica Clasby. She was our vice president, and she has turned in her resignation. I believe, she got into RN school, so she had a lot going on and just wasn't able to. She every night, yeah. So she wasn't able to continue on with the board. So we need to have a motion. We do need a motion to approve the resignation of board member Erica Clasby.
I make a motion to accept Erica Clasby's resignation.
Thank you. Do we have a second?
I'll second it.
Okay, thank you. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All that disapprove say nay. Thank you. That motion is approved to accept the resignation of Erica Clasby. The second is to consider and act upon the approval of appointing Morgan Hyman to the board. Do we have a motion to approve Ms. Morgan Hyman?
I make a motion to approve Morgan Hyman to the Main Street Board.
I second it.
Thank you. All approved?
Aye.
Thank you. And yes, it is time to go. Thank you. And then we've got one more appointment to look at, to consider and act upon the approval of an appointment for vice president. Since Erica was our vice president, we are needing somebody to fill her shoes. Yeah, it's gonna be fun. So I think we have a motion.
I make a motion that Pam is nominated for vice president.
Okay, do we have a second?
I second.
Okay.
Everybody else at
And
this table.
everyone else seconds the motion.
Thank you, Pam.
Congratulations. Well deserved.
Oh, bless her. Okay. And then we need to consider and act upon the approval of amending the farmers market location, hours, and process.
So Nate regretfully resigns, but he's working in Austin, so he cannot be here and work the farmer's market. So it's gonna be whatever y'all decide.
Okay.
But it's the end of the season,
It is the end of the season.
so we have some time to regroup.
Okay. Very good. Very good. So we do not need to make decisions at this moment in juncture.
Do you want to show the video now?
Yeah, let's
show a video.
Here's Julia. Do y'all know the new location? We have a picture of the location? And then we'll show the video.
Sorry, I have to find the right email.
There we go. That's the new farmers market location.
Does everybody know where that is?
No. The dumpster looks familiar.
It's behind First National, Alliance Bank, in that back corner, behind the yellow building.
So the old feed store location?
You see right here, all this is concrete behind the grass.
It has ample parking. We put some millings down for additional parking. The concrete foundations are
There,
24 inches thick.
Yeah,
There's-
Slimco is gonna move this pole over here to the end of the concrete, and then we'll be able to put a power point here, and there'll be a light up there shining that way, and then over here is another pole that there'll be a light shining back this way. And the property will be maintained and mowed and clean and useful,
By our city workers.
which is why they put all the millings out, so there'll be no grass.
Right. It's actually owned by the county, but we have interlocal agreement with the county for the use of the property for as long as we want it. We've also placed a request in our next year's budget cycle to add some pavilions. And with that said, we want to give you guys kind of a vision so we can show them the video of it's a really cool video. I can narrate it if you like.
When the Wi-Fi is increased, it'll be most awesome video.
Is it just
Can you restart it, or is that?
No, it's just hung up now.
okay?
It's what happened the other night with the solar panel.
Let's go to the pictures then. We can show them, at least we can show them those pictures in that other email that we were just at.
But
I
yeah,
was-
except remember the
I'll
night-
email you the copy of
The
this
other
link.
night when it hung up, we're there.
How many of y'all have been to the Winsboro Farmers Market or seen it as you've driven by? That was the original vision for the Winsboro Farmers Market. Well, it now decides to play. I think it's right above that one, Kathy.
Oh, it played, y'all just didn't see it.
We'll try it again. That is a musical stage. We were going to have one of the pavilions that was actually going to be a railroad car, an open railroad car, as a musical stage at that market. This was the original vision for it. And the building that's next to it is another railroad car that we were going to convert into men's and women's restroom facility. So that was the original vision. Had the funding happened, that's where we're going. But the reason I'm showing you this is not that we can copy Winsboro, but that we can do something better than Winsboro. And so my thinking on this is that we had MHS Planning and Design do the design work on this, and they are already doing some work for us, and we can have them help us with our pavilions. But what I'm trying to cast out here for everybody is, what do you want it to look like? We've got
I
a
think the railroad car thing would be cool since it's over there by the.
well, and that was kind of my thought too, is that the railroad car would work here as well as there, because we got a railroad right behind it too. And I'm sure that at one time there was probably a railroad spur that came up behind the feed store to load,
There is.
you know, if there is, so maybe that'll work. So, but anyway, that whole theme, it'd have to be purple though.
Of course.
It would have to be purple. Couldn't be any red anywhere, and I'm okay with that.
Red? No, it's
But I just wanted us to get a bigger vision of what we can, because we kind of look internally. We've been discussing this, and we kind of think that this can really be an attraction to bring people downtown. We're kind of looking at the market not being a Saturday market, but actually being like a Thursday night market, and from 5 to 9 or something like that. Bring folks downtown; they can get their produce. The other upside about having a Thursday night market is you're going to get a lot of the vendors that are in Winsboro on Saturday that have produce in the middle of the week that can come up here. And not just from Winsboro, but from Mount Pleasant, Sulphur Springs. And nobody's doing a weeknight market around us, so it'd be a big draw. They come down here, then they go out to eat, and possibly even have some live entertainment there to, bring them in, or if not down there, maybe up here on the plaza. So that's just kind of the vision. But I wanted us to think big about this and realize that this may be a multi-year project to get what we want. But if we're going to do it, let's make it an asset for our Main Street area.
Is it big enough for the stage and everything over there?
It's pretty large. It is probably it's got to be at least 100 feet long, maybe longer, and probably 30, 40 feet wide. And the foundations on part of it, I think they're wider one, and then they narrow down. But there's plenty of room to be able to do it. I don't know how. I mean, the county owns that whole acreage there, so I think we have plenty of room to be able to make some improvement. Now, we've asked for a quote for some pavilions. We haven't received the quote back yet. If we don't get it soon, I'll contact a couple other companies and get some quotes. And they don't need to look like those pavilions. It could be one big pavilion. It could be whatever we decide that it's going to be good. But we have a call with Hunter Wednesday, and I've already kind of put a bug in his ear on this to kind of think about this also. So
That's where all the old grain tanks were at. When the feed store was a lot bigger operation. You could play in the old silos thing or something.
Well, and the old feed
That'd be
store
cool,
building
too.
was on the end.
if we could get an old silo or an old grain storage tank of some kind,
So it's going out of service. It's
Yeah.
kinda cool.
that would be awesome.
Yeah.
That would be
I've seen
awesome.
some pictures back then too.
Yeah.
Blue and guys swinging through it. I can see it like a kid. That might be cool.
And I just always think it's important to note that in thinking about doing this, like Craig said, we're looking at doing something, bigger than what we've done before. And in doing so, it takes more help. I mean, it's simply not something that the Main Street Board would be able to pursue on its own. And we are certainly not trying, because we all love the Winsboro Farmers Market look. I mean, regardless of how we feel about Winsboro, we love the Farmers Market look that they've got going there. So we're not trying to be in any type of direct competition with what they've got going, because they have an amazing program going right now. We're trying to add to it.
That's exactly right.
We're trying to add to that and not take away from.
Today, I had 2 people from Winsboro Farmer Market ask if we're gonna change to Thursday night, cause they would like to come here on Thursday.
Yeah, that's great.
We can bring we could probably bring initially 6 to 10 vendors in a heartbeat. In a heartbeat.
Yeah.
So
Is this something we're hoping to have done by next year?
that's our goal. At
But we
least
need to
have a good
working
start.
on it now.
So, sorry, the video. I'll send you all a link to the video, and you can watch it at your
I'll
pleasure.
forward it tomorrow.
Yeah, it's really kind of cool.
I think it's a great idea. What else would you use this for besides the farmer's market? What could
You could use it for part of Country Fest. You could use it you could do little concerts there. You could rent it for reunions. We could do anything you wanted to do. It'd be a multi-functional space. We could use it for. It'd be a great place to register everybody for the Trail to Cypress.
you do?
Yeah, Tour to Cypress thing. I mean, that'd be a great location for that. I mean, it'd be super. It'd have everything right there, and even have the food. And there's plenty of room for food trucks down there too, if we wanted to go that route for specific event days. So it'd be cool. It'd be cool.
Does your vision include bathrooms?
It has to.
Yeah.
Absolutely. One of the things that we saw that was the most requested thing was that we have to have restrooms. And it has to be walkable because there's a ton of people that are older and maybe disabled too that go to the farmer's market. And I mean, the whole thing about the farmer's market is it's a social thing, you know. It's a social thing as well as a grocery thing. I mean, it's a place to hang.
I think the railroad car is really a cool concept. Would you remove all the wheels of those things to get them out of the ground?
Block them up.
Great idea.
So
It'd be cooler if they're still mobile.
it would be cool. But the coolest car there that they had was a cattle car, which was going to be the stage. You know, with remember the old car? You know, because you're too young. But I remember the cars where they were vented
Yeah.
at the cattle, and you know, that was, if we could find something like that, that would be awesome. You know,
Yeah.
and to use that as a stage. That's what our plans were there.
Parker,
Farm market,
Y'all may know somebody that has
I'm
one.
sure.
I think they had one or two.
You know, I know some of you ladies up there. I know there's a tremendous amount of design talent on that meeting for you ladies. What do they do with all these cabooses that they discontinued recently?
People use a lot of them for storage containers, I see that.
But
In
the
the
extent of my
insurance
design,
world.
people have a caboose on either end, and that would be the restroom facilities.
That would be cool.
I think they can pretty much make anything happen out of them.
If there's a guy that sells used airplane parts, there's a guy out there that sells used railroad cars. We just gotta find him, or maybe he wants to store some here.
Yeah. For sure.
There's a place in Scroggins that has a ton of them.
Is that right?
Really? Interesting.
You know, yeah.
I know a guy.
There you go.
Caboose guy.
Put
Glad
him on
you
that
came.
committee, ladies.
Yeah.
Yeah, I should have hit that.
The caboose committee.
Next time.
Check.
Open now, get volunteers.
I guess I could ask him. I never thought I'd ask him about it, but yeah,
He's probably just been waiting for somebody to ask
Probably.
him about it.
'cause it's all,
Jeff
yeah,
Burns, I know him, he's gonna be.
yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
And the Winsboro Farm Market has grown, which is crazy how big it is. All the food vendors down there now,
It's, what's so cool is that some of those food vendors have actually opened restaurants there in town. You know, they started out just with a food truck and then boom.
yeah, the Haven, is the Haven that one open? And
Yeah.
the Taqueria behind it?
Yeah. It's a real cool thing.
Okay, so do we need to act upon that?
I mean, you can if you want to, but I mean, I kind of think we're at the end right now. I just think we need to collect our thoughts and
Yeah.
maybe at the next meeting so that we're ready to go.
I agree.
You could, the board could direct the staff to pursue design options for them to consider.
Yeah, yeah,
And direct Jeff to find some railroad cars.
right, right.
Or to work with Jeff to help him find railroad cars.
And then
Gotta
our,
make sure they get you.
yeah, yeah. Okay, all right, very good. That works great. Okay, so do we need to vote on that? Okay, because that's not really, not at this moment. Okay, so the next thing we have is to place Miss Morgan on a committee.
So, y'all can see who's on what.
So our organization committee is dwindling.
We need to.
So, yeah,
Economic science.
yeah,
We
yeah,
can do
yeah.
economic.
I will send you information like to explain to you. Maybe y'all need to let me get her the information and she can kind of
Yeah.
decide where she should.
Fits best. And
I
then
need one on economic development.
the next item on the
Quality or
agenda.
whatever.
The next item we've got on the agenda is our spring event. And with the spring event, so this is going to be a big discussion item. So, our spring event, we've got, we've been doing the wine festival, is what we've been doing for our spring event. So, we're looking at making it more of a country fest feel, but in the spring. So instead of trying to reinvent the wheel, which is kind of what I feel like we've been doing over and over in the spring, we've been trying to make this wine event something that maybe instead of reinventing the wheel, we just kind of go back to the basics. And the Key Club has done a phenomenal job with Country Fest. I mean, that's the biggest event that we've got in Mount Vernon, and it's successful. It does great. So we're kind of trying to do like a spinoff of Country Fest, but in the spring. We're not talking about doing away with wine. We're just not going to center the name of our event and everything in it around just wine. It's gotten harder and harder to get vendors, the wine
Especially
vendors.
The first weekend because it's Canton
Yeah, it's Canton weekend. In the past 2 years, I know for sure, maybe even the past 3, we've only had four
Last year
vendors.
was 4, year before that was 6.
See,
I think it was 4.
I think it was
Last
4.
2
The
years
last
was
2 has been 4. Oh,
6?
okay. So we thought it was 4, but small. It's dwindled down with being able to get the wine vendors. So when you're charging people to come in and do wine tastings and to do all this stuff, they've only got 3, 4, 5 people to choose from, and they've not been very happy with that, and understandably so. We want it to be bigger. We want it to be a much larger event. So that's kind of what we're going towards. So is everybody familiar with the whole solar eclipse? Okay, so we're just going to be talking about that for the first time.
I did send to y'all.
Right.
What y'all think about it.
Okay. So we've got a lot of committees. About probably 3 weeks ago, I met with several other different committees in town, and everybody is kind of wanting to join together and put on this, astronomically huge event because of the solar eclipse that is coming in April. And it's one of the things that's coming, and I don't remember how rare it is.
This area, Sulphur Springs, Mount Vernon,
Yeah.
will be the best area in all of the world to view it.
Right. But
And
how often does this come along? This.
Over 100 years. I
Okay,
think.
so we won't see it again in our lifetime. I think it's safe to say. You might. Well, you might. You might. 8th of April. So it's on April 8th.
which is Monday.
Is a
We're
Monday.
trying to, like all of the RV parks are full.
Yeah.
So people are coming from
Everywhere.
Everywhere.
Like emergency
Yeah.
disaster management.
Mhm.
People are sending emails like, you
Yes.
need to get out the word to your local people that they need to get gas and they move out of
Yeah.
countries and this kind of thing.
Yeah.
Because
They're talking about it like in Y2K terms. I mean, I know we all remember
Yes.
Y2K. Like, not that anything bad is going to happen. Like,
Just
nobody's.
lots of people.
But lots and lots of people.
So we're trying to figure out how to entertain them.
Yes.
Saturday, Sunday,
Yes.
and Monday.
And it comes at the perfect time for this spring event. So we're looking for a lot of collaboration from different committees, different groups, and it is pretty cool. Like, I am not into all the solar stuff. It's just not something that has ever piqued my interest. But the more that I'm learning about it, I mean, it's crazy. It's going to be really, really neat, regardless of whether we think it's like something I'm going to jump outside at 1:30 on Monday to see. There are people that are coming. They're coming. whether we do something or not, these people are coming. So we might as well give them something to draw them in, draw them into our area, and show them a good time. And the coolest part about it is that the Sulphur Springs, Mount Vernon, this I-30 corridor is the ideal viewing spot. Like, the ideal. That's why they're coming, and they're coming here. Sulphur Springs has been working for a year, if I understand correctly. They've been working for a year on getting their event going.
They're
Hotels
filled.
are booked.
Yeah.
All-
Yeah. It's wild.
We're,
It's crazy.
We're getting booked.
Yeah. So once we do kind of get this event going and planned, we're going to have to, it's going to be a big push on making sure that all of our hotels, the Airbnbs, places at the lake, the RV parks, making sure that everywhere that these people are going to be, our restaurants, our shops, making sure that the word is out about our event. Yeah, it's gonna, the word's gonna get out there, and it's definitely gonna be a big event for sure. It has the potential to be the biggest event that Mount Vernon has ever seen.
Or the biggest bomb if it's cloudy.
Oh. Hey,
It's in
they're
the
they're
afternoon.
gonna be here, and we're gonna give them a good time.
If that happens, the
Yeah.
bars are gonna have one hell of a
Yes, they are.
Just have the beer flowing. It's gonna be fine.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's gonna be fine.
In the afternoon.
So they need something to do.
After that, yes.
They need something to do the weekend before, because they'll be here the weekend of the event. The event happens on Monday. They're going to need something to do Saturday. And they're going to need stuff to do before. Yeah, and then they're gone. Yeah. So that's kind of where we're standing on the spring event, is looking at not doing the wine festival per se, but combining with
Maybe doing something in the park, doing something
Sure.
here, doing something in the park.
Yeah, and we're that's important to note, that we're not talking about doing this in one specific location. This is not all going to take place right here on the square. We're talking about football field. We're talking about the park. There's different locations for different things
Baseball association wants to do something out there.
out there. Yeah, at the sports complex. So it's going to be a big deal. It's going to be a really big deal.
You mentioned there were several groups.
Mm-hmm.
And
Have
I've
they
got
had a
glasses
meeting?
coming.
We
Yes, we're just trying to make sure everybody wants to be involved before
Yes.
we set another meeting to.
right. And I haven't talked to any. We have not talked to Key Club yet per se,
But Frankie said she's
but
on board.
they have definitely shown interest.
We had our Key
Yeah.
Club, I guess it was last Tuesday, and they brought it up, and so I know
Okay.
they're gonna be.
We're on the
looking into it.
radar.
They need to get
We're on their
Looking into
radar.
it as well. So if y'all can make sure there someone from that group is invited to the
We're just trying
meeting.
get everybody together.
Yes.
And Vicky Slayton did call me, so
Okay, good.
she'll
Good.
be our, I guess, our contact.
Yep. So we've got the Historical Association that I met with a few weeks ago, the Community Events
The
Committee,
baseball.
Chamber
People.
Association.
and the Chamber.
Commerce and the Baseball Association.
Yep. So we've definitely got, lots of organizations that are showing interest and want to be involved and help. And we're
Multiple
gonna need
venues.
every single one. We're gonna need every person we can, all hands on deck.
It would be awesome if the growth factor here.
Another dueling piano.
It's open.
Dun dun dun. That would be awesome. Okay, so that is just throwing that out there. That is a huge discussion for everyone, not just our committee. This is a huge discussion for everyone in Mount Vernon.
So we really want to know which one of y'all want to be the contact person, because you'll have to attend these meetings.
Oh yeah. Who do y'all volunteer as tribute?
Are you saying GW?
Yeah.
That's what I'm hearing. He's not saying no. Okay. We just need we need an EDC rep
You
to
know, the
be
rodeo
involved in our
arena is
meetings
another
and
venue for this.
just listen
The rodeo
to
arena
what we're
would be
talking
another
about with them.
venue.
Disseminate information. Yep. Okay, very good. Okay, so that is all the discussion then for the spring event. There will be much, much, much more to come in a much more organized fashion, but just wanted to get the word out, get the information out there. That we are looking at Saturday, April the 6th, and Monday, April the 8th. And if somebody wants to get crazy, April the 7th on Sunday. Okay, so our next item to discuss is the Labor Day Rodeo.
So Martin GW?
Okay.
Has anybody talked to Brad Neal?
Yes, I am. Y'all want me to tell what I know?
Yes.
Okay. So, I have talked to him multiple times. says, for those of you who don't know, they would like to pipe the rodeo live downtown in some of the restaurants, all of the restaurants. One of the restaurants, anything is an option. So, they're saying now that they would like $1,000 per restaurant because they feel if they pipe it downtown that people are going to stay up here and not actually come to the rodeo, so they're going to lose money on tickets. But is this something y'all want to discuss?
So we're talking about, you're saying piping. So we're
Right.
just talking about
They'll broadcast live
like
on
TV or
on
radio?
ATV,
Okay.
in each location that wants to do it.
So, if all of you been to the rodeo in the last year or two?
I always go.
So,
It's a lot bigger than it was in our day. I mean, like,
so
A big screen and everything's going
Yeah,
on.
so years ago it was like a regular small town Cooper, Mount Vernon, rodeo, and it's grown and grown, and I think they rent a big screen, as you said now. I can't remember how big it is, but it comes out on a flatbed truck. I mean, the screen is longer than this room. I mean, it's a big screen, and it's not just a TV screen, but they have. It looks like it's on TV. You have the person's name, the town that they're from, you have banners, you have instant replay, you have scores, standings. So they really upped their game. It's professional production. And I think Brad told me that I'm gonna get the numbers off a little bit, but a few years ago we ranked real low in payout, in the amount of money that they pay the contestants, for their prizes. About 4 years ago, we were like ranked 60th. A few years ago, 30th. But what did I say? I think we got up to like third. So what Brad and the sheriff's posse are doing is every year when they make their budget, the first thing that they do is significantly up the payout money for the next year. They're just betting heavily and just disproportionately putting a lot of money towards payout each year. It's bringing in more and more people. But yeah, so right now it's generating a lot of buzz and bringing in a lot of people. And I asked Brad if he targeted any downtown businesses for advertising. He said no. They
So
had.
let me explain the way I understand they advertise or get sponsors. They send the rodeo queen contestants around to ask businesses if they would like to sponsor. So it's 400, 600, 1,200, and 2,000, I think. And if any of y'all are interested, I have the paperwork up there if you want to sponsor. But so the girls go out and get the sponsors. So if your business isn't open when they're out soliciting sponsors, then maybe you wouldn't know or have the opportunity to be a sponsor. But if you sponsor, everybody gets
Banner.
a banner that's placed around the inside of the rodeo ground.
This is something we've done every year. I think we did the 400. It's probably our old logo on it, but otherwise it costs more to update your logo, and they place these banners all
And so,
around
like,
the
while
inside.
it's playing live, the sponsors' names are thrown up there too.
Yes, you can still sponsor a certain event as well.
So they, when I asked them if he targeted any downtown businesses, he said they hadn't, but they'd like to. And kind of the rodeo queen sort of sponsorship, system's not probably the best. Most years we didn't get hit up.
But I think they're learning.
Yeah, I'm not criticizing
And
them.
I'm including y'all because the businesses are in the main street. So
Yeah.
this was something y'all would need to promote.
And it's kind of like we had a young girl come in and the first year in a few years that wanted to come in asking for a sponsorship, and we're like, okay, well, we'll put some money under your deal, even though we contacted them directly to give them. So that probably wasn't, the best marketing strategy, relying solely on those contestants, to advertising.
Well, I think that's why it's a little less, I mean, it's just not put out there, but it's just because the girls are the ones doing it and, they're gonna go to people they know.
And And they may just go to people that they know already has banners
That's right.
that have already sponsored, and they're just going back to the continuous ones that have done it, and not any new ones that might just want something else or their name advertised or something like that. But that may be why they stop by us.
Well, what's that?
What about the animal feed companies? This is their business. They can get private funding from them.
Well, they would, I don't know the extent of it, but I'm sure some do and some don't. But like I said, a flaw in the advertising setup is that it was in the hands of a lot of contestants to go out and get sponsors.
Young girls.
And I'm not criticizing them at all. I mean, that's not their,
Well, that's just how they've always done it. When I asked him, he
Exactly.
said that's just
Yeah.
how we've always done it.
but they're wanting to get more into, larger sponsorships. And when I mentioned downtown, so they have a large concert that they put on 2 nights, and he said he'd really like to bring the concert downtown. And so then that really went hand in hand with having it live,
Broadcasting it or actually bringing the concert down here?
bringing it,
Okay.
right? Because a lot of people, at a lot of
Like a
those small town
Street
rodeos like
dance
that,
and concert. You know,
Exactly.
like Abilene
Yeah.
Ranch Hand Rodeo.
yeah, just like
But
that.
the first night is downtown is taking over with street dance and a parade.
Because some of these small town rodeos,
Street dance.
the towns are kind of closed down
Right.
by the time the rodeo gets out.
Mm-hmm.
So a lot of people have kind of gotten used to just the rodeo's done, they pack up and they leave. But this could keep a lot of people in town. This could, that large volume of people, they could steer them, downtown and have the concert here, have the live feed, but also the way that Greg Ostertag does, has Carrie or Collins here for
Radio show.
the radio show where they're interviewing football players, like for a football game. We could do some of that where,
It's a great idea.
we could include the radio
It's
station.
been years, and it was, well, don't you, when you were little, Brad, do you remember the street dance? I mean,
Before
Packed.
time began.
packed.
No, it wasn't.
I know we used to do the one at Wiley, and they used to always have rodeo parade and all that, to get
Well,
ready.
for a
No,
little while, the
Chamber.
chamber did go rodeo and
They always
The
have,
parade.
The problem is on why the parades there were not enough
People
people
to participate. Yeah.
participate. And that was right before COVID. I think they quit having it the year, let's see, I came in 2019, so 2018 I think was the last. And they used to have, who was it riding the girls?
those trick riders.
I want to say Dixie Chicks, and that's not right.
Cowgirls or something.
Yeah, because those trick riders are always
But
there, they do
anyways.
stuff.
And it used to be pretty big, but it's basically getting participants and then paying whoever big they want to go through it.
I thought it was because the, chamber, manager had to
No,
That was one issue.
no, that was JD's job. And then the police took over and the EMTs took over that.
Okay, so I texted him, they are having their meeting right now as well, so maybe y'all give me questions that you have, and I'll talk to him and then give you answers.
So what is it that we can do for them?
Well, I kinda think that's, if we move at one night of the concert downtown, what do y'all think about, like, maybe the beginning night?
I think it's a great
Is
idea.
it just Saturday and Sunday?
Saturday night?
Saturday, I would think, more than Sunday.
it's Saturday and Sunday night.
Because that would be good
Yeah.
for the restaurants. Mm.
Okay, so he said they're getting ready to start, but he will address it in the meeting, and that's a possibility.
And normally Saturday night rodeo is a lot of fun, right? I think
Yeah.
there's more bull riders Saturday night, and on Sunday it's just the winner can Saturday night come back.
Saturday night.
I'd do it again.
Sunday night, too.
But if we did it on
It's Labor Day
Saturday,
weekend,
Right.
so.
but most
milled
of
it
the
and I
crowd downtown, Brad said there's already not parking. I just thought maybe by that time it might have eased up a little bit.
Yeah.
It happens to me that Fridays involved in that weekend, Friday nights are a night that you could, the town could use some help. You would think Friday night's jam packed, it's Saturday night, they parking down the streets. Friday night, a lot of times, could use some help. So
Ready to
there-
kick off the rodeo with the concert and Friday?
Early enough? You do it before the rodeo or after? Before.
Ball game that time?
I was about to say, does that conflict with Friday night football?
Unless it's by weekend.
There is no,
Sure,
it's
by
not,
weekend.
it's way later. Yeah.
Too early,
Yeah.
She had it early by, we had early by before.
Everything's set off.
So that won't work, yeah. Saturday night, challenge downtown.
Even Brad, if it was at like 10:30 at night, cause that's when the concert would be.
I'd be okay, it would start.
It'd be
late.
after, yeah.
You're right, Crystal, it'll start late, that's right.
After the
But that would work, it would work, I'm sorry, it's a late
Like
concert.
after
It
dinner.
would work, that would be good,
What if some of the restaurants did things to give away rodeo tickets too?
yeah.
You know,
Saturday, fine,
you know, just,
be plenty of room. After 9 o'clock, people would start piling in downtown, there's plenty of room. I'm glad you said that, I totally forgot how late it starts.
It'll be cooler too.
Yeah. It would be something to do. I think it's a great idea.
So we'll let Kathy get with Brad, Neil, and kind of figure out how our group can help with that rodeo, that Labor Day rodeo event. That sounds good. I don't see any reason why not. I mean,
One thing I kind of, because we go normally on Sunday nights, but there was a lot of people from Dallas that came down to the lake. I don't know how they missed it, how they didn't know this was like a yearly thing. You know, they were just talking to us and they're like, we're here every year, we never knew you guys had a rodeo. She said, but today we came to the grocery store and everybody was talking about it. She says, so we came in, they loved it. I mean, they stayed to the end. But I just feel like maybe a little bit more promotion, you know, a little bit more marketing in the lake area
Advertising.
for those, because it's Labor Day weekend, so the lake is packed.
Mm-hmm.
So everybody comes in on that weekend.
We do go this little late.
I was about to say, don't most neighborhoods have newsletters?
Well, yes, that's exactly.
If you could
what
get
I'm
it in
saying.
the neighborhood newsletters out there.
I did have those. I mean, they're like constantly changing, but I can talk with Sharon. There's always a contact.
They have to go out pretty soon.
yeah.
Yes.
Real soon.
Yeah.
Ready.
Already less than 2 weeks away. Okay.
I think that was like the homeowner associations, I think, that did that for the rodeo, they did those out for.
Yeah. And I know a lot of, we've learned from the wine festivals that a
And
lot,
Friday night, they do not have a band booked. It's Saturday and Sunday.
okay. A lot of the people that are coming from the lake, we have noticed that they are always telling us that they're on the Facebook page. So there's Facebook pages directed towards, like community pages that are directed towards our lake community, and they definitely get a lot of their news there. So that's good through social media. So that would be a good way to communicate with them too.
well, us personally can, if we have a advertisement for the rodeo, we can all share it on all of our pages as well.
Absolutely. Okay, very good. All right, so now on to our committee reports. Do we have anything to report from the organization committee?
No.
Okay, not yet. This will change in the very near future. Our reports are going to be very busy. We've got a lot happening. The Economic Vitality Committee, anything to report right now? Okay. Design Committee?
No.
Okay. And then promotions?
No.
Not at this time. Okay. All right. Does anyone have anything else that they wanted to discuss before we adjourn? Yeah. Yeah. Anything else on the agenda that you want to talk about? There you go. There you go. Okay. All right. Well, I will wait for a motion for adjournment. Okay. Thank you. And do we have a second?
I'll second it.
All in favor? All opposed? Okay. We are adjourned.
Mark,
Turn
is
your
adjourned.
microphones on.
We're adjourned.
Huh?
We're adjourned.
I need a motion in a second, so.
We didn't do that to start it. Do I have a motion to adjourn the meeting?
Start with me.
And a second. Everybody in
Jack,
favor?
Jeff, and Julia are the only ones that I'm talking to now.
Everybody in favor?
Yeah. Okay, do y'all have anything else? I mean,
Meeting's adjourned, yeah.
I did ask. Okay, I will find out this information and get it back to you.
Thank you.
To the ones that I'm calling.